watching the It's Her Time podcast with Cody and Jess. Welcome back to the It's Her Time podcast. Now, if you pay attention to the health headlines, then you've probably heard about our gut microbiome, or the collection of good and bad bugs that live in our gut and have a huge impact on our health. But there's something you might not know. The gut microbiome actually has a powerful effect on our hormones. There's a group of bacteria in the gut that's known as the estrobolome. And what it does is it metabolizes and eliminates estrogen from our body. But that's not all that it does. A healthy gut helps hormones in other ways too. A balanced microbiome lowers inflammation, which promotes hormone balance, and may be especially helpful for hormonal acne. And it supports balanced blood sugar, which is absolutely essential for healing hormones. A healthy gut also allows our bodies to extract the nutrients we need for hormone healing from our food and our supplements. So if you are suffering from hormone-related issues like acne or bloating or PMS or heavy or irregular periods, PCOS or ovarian cysts or hair loss or mood swings, fatigue, or a low libido, then you are definitely suffering from an underlying hormone imbalance, and you can help heal your symptoms by addressing gut health, because a healthy gut is directly linked to healthy hormones. So today in this episode, we're going to go take a deep dive, and I can't wait. This is going to be a fun episode because it's something that we all need to learn a little bit more about. But before we go into this deep dive, let's join Jess for a Mixers Girl Say.
On today's Mixers Girl Say, we're actually going to discuss some of the magical holiday moments that some of you experienced. And Cody and I were just having a discussion about the holiday season. And what were you saying about kind of after the holidays?
Yeah, I was just saying it's so common for us to be on this huge high during the holidays. And then when we hit January, everything just kind of stops and you get those little January blues or January blahs. And something that has helped me to be able to kind of get through the rest of the winter months is to continue doing so many of the things that I enjoy that kind of brought the magic to life that we do during November, December, and so on, and make little moments that are like cozy and special. And so that's why I was like, I know we're past the holidays, but I love some of these submissions that you girls have sent into us about the things that did make the holidays feel magical. And hopefully you'll just be inspired to incorporate some of these continuing on throughout the whole year.
Absolutely. So one woman wrote in, just hearing my kids laugh while playing together. I think that's, as a mother, one of the things that immediately makes me the happiest.
It's like music to your ears.
Yes. When you can just hear kids get in a creative flow together. They're playing who knows what game, but you hear giggling and fun. And even one of my favorite things is hearing my kids just running through the house together. And it's just so fulfilling as a mom to witness your kids enjoying one another.
Right.
And so I agree with her. Another woman wrote, making rolls for the first time with my 11-year-old son. And that is
sweet.
So funny. He'll never forget that either.
No, and he'll probably just continue making them and imagine him doing it now with his kids someday. It's just awesome.
I always am telling my son, you have to nail down my chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Yes. She's got a really good chocolate chip cookie recipe. Yes.
Yeah, they're really great. And I always tell him, I'm like, a man that can make chocolate chip cookies, bud.
It's a catch.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun for him to have my recipe, in my girls already have it memorized.
Oh, of course.
Let us whip that up. But I think it's
bakers.
Fun for my son to know how to make those too.
Yes. In our relationship with my husband's the baker for sure. So I'm grateful that he learned how to bake from his mom.
I love that.
Yeah.
My 5-year-old getting so excited to help grandma decorate the tables. I think we underestimate how much fun our kids have helping create holiday magic.
Right. That's true.
I think times I've been I'll hurry and do it. The kids don't want to help, or they're busy, or let me hurry and get it done so that they're not in the way. And I do sometimes have those feelings of I can just be much faster without them.
That's true.
But actually there's been times where I'm hey, can you actually write out all the place cards?
Yeah.
And it's the cutest thing to see their handwriting. They feel like they're really contributing because they are.
Yeah.
And I realize it means a lot for them to be participating.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Because I feel sometimes as the wife, the mom, wherever, the person that's throwing the parties. We just want people to show up, and we think it's all on us to create that magic. But really, that's so true. There's so much magic in the doing of it. And I remember that actually, now that we're saying this and hearing this, that's some of my favorite memories growing up was my mom just knew how to decorate, for any holiday, but especially Christmas. And she loves to decorate and set tables. And we give her a hard time sometimes because she just does every simple meal. We have this beautiful spread before us. It's so nice though. But I have so many fun memories of like doing place cards and learning how to fold napkins and doing all of that. So
I love that. I have those same memories. Yeah. So I'm going to keep my kids helping.
Good.
Last one I'll share, but this one's so special. My kids, married, college age, and teenagers, all finally together under one roof, enjoying watching a Christmas movie on TV together. And like, what a fun phase of life to get to the point where you have adult children, you have kids that are needing less of your attention and care, but recognizing still like those moments that they care to be together and enjoying each other even as adults. I think that's so fun.
It's the best.
Yeah. Mixers is a company made for women by women. Each of our products have been carefully and lovingly crafted to support you in all stages of your life, providing you with the optimal health you deserve. Each ingredient we handpick is 100% all natural, backed by science, and chosen specifically to better your life physically, mentally, and hormonally. Each product empowers your body to take charge of its monthly hormonal shift and flows, empowering you to live life to the fullest. Let Mixers take care of your needs from sunup to sundown, and you take care of the rest. Check us out at mixers.com, MIXHERS.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about the gut hormone connection and what causes poor gut health. Now, we talked about the estrobolome, which is a collection of bugs in the gut that are devoted to processing and eliminating estrogen from our body and helps to protect against a common condition, which we all know about, called estrogen dominance. That's when our estrogen levels are high relative to our progesterone levels. Now, estrogen dominance is triggered by a perfect storm of modern day lifestyle factors, things like the foods that we eat and the toxic products that we use, the stress that we're experiencing, or if we're getting poor sleep, or if we're just being exposed, which we all are, to environmental toxins, and so much more. The condition is then compounded by a sluggish detoxification system, and that's where the estrobolome comes in. If it's in poor shape, if the balance of bugs in the estrobolome is off, then our ability to detox estrogen is definitely going to be compromised. And there are other factors in subpar detoxification, like liver health, but the estrobolome is one of the most essential players. Now, poor gut health and subpar detoxification are triggered by things like a poor diet and micronutrient deficiencies and toxin overloads, like we kind of just talked about. And it's essential to support our gut health if we really truly want to heal our hormones and to solve our rotten hormone-related symptoms. Now, there are some signs and some symptoms of an unhealthy gut that you can be aware of. Now, there's a term that we practitioners use to describe an imbalanced microbiome, and it's called dysbiosis. Some of the key symptoms of dysbiosis are things like hormone balances, but also things like bloating and gas and heartburn or acne and other skin issues like rosacea or eczema. Also, if you deal with like chronic diarrhea or constipation, or maybe even both. Or if you've ever dealt with brain fog, which is an inability to concentrate, or things like headaches. And what if you're just getting sick all the time from things like colds or yeast infections? A lot of people also experience things like depression and anxiety, and they have these feelings of chronic fatigue. And they also have problems with like gaining unexplained weight and then having difficulty losing it. So there are a lot of studies out there that show also that individuals with obesity have a less diverse microbiome, which I think is super interesting because they have a less diverse microbiome than those who are slimmer. And as people who are obese then slim down, their gut flora changes. And so we all need healthy gut flora to break down fats and sugars and get them in transit out of our body, just like we need our gut flora to help eliminate excess hormones. And when it comes to mental health too, depression and anxiety and other mental health disorders are also linked to gut dysbiosis, thanks to the outsized influence of the gut and brain axis on our overall health. So let's talk a little bit about how we can actually heal our gut and solve a lot of the hormone problems that come from an unhealthy gut. In order to heal our hormones, we also need to heal our gut. That's usually the first step that I would take with clients that I worked with. And some of the best steps that I recommend are to first say goodbye to white foods. That's things like dairy and sugar and gluten. Research has linked sugar to disruptions in the gut microbiome. Likewise, lower intake of dairy products has been associated with better gut health. And gluten aggravates the lining of the gut, creates these little microscopic tears, triggering a whole bunch of overall health and hormone problems. The second tip that I recommend is that you want to sneak in more blood sugar balancing foods. A healthy gut helps balance blood sugar, and a blood sugar balancing diet helps support a healthy gut. It's a positive upward spiral and a win-win for our hormones. So we need to do our best to emphasize low glycemic, high phytonutrient foods, things like avocados and nuts and seeds, olive oil, salmon, things like that. My third tip is to try to implement eating more fermented foods every single day. Just a couple of tablespoons a day of fermented foods that are rich in probiotics can make a big difference. So you can eat foods like kimchi and sauerkraut. Even if they're not your favorite, just a little tablespoon here and there can make all the world of difference. My fourth tip is to live a low inflammation lifestyle. Now, inflammation is just bad for the gut and bad for overall health overall. Eating low glycemic foods, meaning foods that are not going to raise our blood sugar levels too high, and then also avoiding toxic exposures and making sure we're really careful about getting enough sleep and exercise, and also engaging in phase-based self-care to keep our inflammation low is really helpful. In fact, our new app, which if you've been following us on social media, you'll know that we just released it. It can help us girls to know exactly what phase of our monthly cycle we're in and what exercise and nutrition will actually support us best during that phase. Now, my fifth tip is to limit antibiotic exposure. Antibiotics are hard on the gut because they kill off all bacteria, not just the bad bugs. So make sure you take antibiotics only when necessary. Obviously, you're going to talk to a trusted healthcare provider about this, and together you can make that decision for yourself. But I also recommend we got to be careful about the meat that we're eating. We want to eat meat that only comes from animals that have been raised without antibiotics. Okay, sixth tip is to rethink the pill. And I'm talking about the birth control pill. Now, like antibiotics, hormonal birth control erodes the balance of good and bad bugs in the gut. There's a lot of studies that suggest that using the pill increases the risk of inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. And if you're on the pill now and you want to quit, then you can take a systematic approach to coming off the pill without symptoms. And Her Time Extra Strength can play a big part in that approach. Obviously, I want you always to talk to your doctor whenever you're making medicine changes. You want to make sure that you're doing it with some guidance. Okay, seventh tip is to up our intake of healing micronutrients. There's increasing evidence that sufficient micronutrient intake is important for gut health, and that micronutrient deficiency can have a negative effect on the overall gut flora. So I want to share what some of the research says about some of the specific nutrients. The first nutrient is vitamin B12 because it plays an important role in shaping our gut microbial communities, and that's according to research. Also, magnesium. Studies show that magnesium deficiency changes the amount of bifidobacteria in the gut. Also, vitamin D. Research suggests that vitamin D deficiency actually changes the microbiome in ways that can trigger inflammation. And there's also zinc. Most of us are deficient in zinc, and it's associated with a less diverse microbiome and less bacterial activity. There's also studies that show that having sufficient levels of selenium is associated with increases in bifidobacterium in the gut. That's why it's so important to make sure that we are staying consistent with taking our supplements, especially in this case. I would recommend things like Her Multi and Her Time, and now we have Her Digest, which I'm so excited. Now, of course, if you've been hanging out here on the It's Her Time podcast with me for a while, you know that I am a food first advocate, but it's important to note that even if you eat a healthy diet, you most likely will still be deficient in these key micronutrients because of things like environmental factors, which are beyond our control, from the mineral depleted soil in which most of our food is now grown, and the shifts in growing practices that have reduced the number of vitamins and minerals in various foods can leave us eating a perfect diet and still micronutrient deficient. So it's important to make sure that you are taking high quality supplements, which Mixers provides, and make sure you make it part of your daily routine. All right, 8th tip is to take a trusted probiotic supplement. Now, probiotics are the good bacteria, but what's even better than a probiotic? It's a supplement that is specifically formulated to support a healthy gut and optimal digestion through providing effective probiotics as well as prebiotics to help feed the healthy bacteria in our gut and to help keep things moving along and out of our gut efficiently. Plus, this formula has ingredients that can protect and it can reduce inflammation and it can support in rebuilding and healing of our gut lining. Now, we just introduced Her Digest very recently, just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so excited to tell you all about why it's an absolute game changer when it comes to supporting our health today on this episode. The main function of our gut is the digestion and absorption of food and keeping everything moving along our GI tract. But our gut involves so much more than just digestion. It also has the responsibility of taking care of our immune system, which is huge. For instance, it does this through healthy gut flora or bacteria that stand guard, fighting off harmful bacteria and disease. So let me give you a little list of what gut bacteria does for us because it's pretty amazing stuff. Yes, it does regulate our digestion, but it also regulates our metabolism. It also helps us to extract and make vitamins and other nutrients from the food that we eat. And it also helps to program our body's immune system. It also helps to build and maintain our gut wall to protect our body from outside invaders. Plus, it blocks us from harmful microbes and it produces antimicrobial chemicals to fight off pathogens. And it's crucial in the gut-brain connection. So, maintaining an optimum level of healthy bacteria or gut flora is what gut health is all about. It's a very delicate balance, and many everyday stresses and things like medications can throw our gut health off. So that's why it's so important for us to get supplementation, give us that little extra support that we need. So when our gut health is compromised, then what happens is that unhealthy bacteria, what it does is it builds up and it can create this hostile environment that can lead to health problems, things like hormone imbalance, like we've talked about, or arthritis or depression or IBS. And there's just like dozens of other autoimmune and inflammatory conditions that I could name. So probiotics are known to help then restore a natural flora in our gut and are something that we all need to add to our health regimen every single day. With a healthy balance of gut flora, then what happens is our digestive system is going to run like a well-oiled engine room of a ship, fueling our body with a steady stream of nutrients, helping to get rid of the toxins and fighting off disease. And these are all the most important reasons about why our gut health is so essential. So let's talk about what is in Her Digest and why it makes it so much more than just a probiotic supplement. Yes, there are probiotics in it. In fact, there are 12 billion CFUs, so that's a lot of probiotic strains. Bacillus coagulans is the strain that we are using in Her Digest. Now, it was chosen because it's a strain that is known to help with things like constipation, which we all suffer with, too many of us do. And it's used for irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, and it's also used for diarrhea and gas and indigestion and many other conditions. It's an amazing strain of probiotic. But we also have prebiotics in it and fiber. In fact, quite a bit. We are using acacia gum, which is a prebiotic fiber that feeds our healthy bacteria in the gut, which is essential. It is also highly digestible and is well tolerated by people who suffer from digestive issues. It is FODMAP friendly, and FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols, right? Basically, that just means carbohydrates and sugar alcohols. Now, these elements can cause gastrointestinal problems for people with IBS. And acacia is beneficial for people with leaky gut syndrome, which is also very common, and it helps to reduce gut inflammation and it supports repair of the gut lining. Now, in this formula of Her Digest, we also have an amino acid called L-glutamine. And what L-glutamine does is it aids in protein synthesis, and it helps to naturally balance our pH levels, which is our alkaline and acidity balance. L-glutamine benefits our overall health by supporting gut function and digestive processes, and it can be beneficial if we have a digestive condition like irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, an inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, diverticulitis, or leaky gut, or any of the issues associated with leaky gut, like joint pain and rosacea or any type of autoimmune response that you might be experiencing. Now, for those of you that are into fitness, you may be familiar with using L-glutamine because it also promotes muscle growth and it decreases muscle wasting. All right, now we also wanted to add some things that help to reduce inflammation, help with protecting, and help soothing that inflammation as well. So we added licorice root. Now, black licorice can help our digestive system work more efficiently. It can even ease symptoms from indigestion and heartburn and ulcers. Black licorice extracts have been linked to a reduction in the bacteria that causes ulcers, in fact. And it's also helpful with health ailments such as fatigue, eczema, and even menopausal symptoms. All right, we also put in marshmallow root. A key healing property of marshmallow root is the ability to soothe inflammation of the mucous membranes throughout the entire body. When food sensitivities or allergies, illness, or other factors that interfere with healthy digestion, a person can experience upset stomachs, have heartburn or constipation or diarrhea. And what marshmallow does is it forms this thick protective coating in the digestive tract, which helps to reduce the burning, and it tames other symptoms of digestive distress. We also have quercetin in it. Quercetin enhances intestinal barrier function and modulates gut microbiotic composition. The activities of tight junction proteins at the gut epithelium enhance barrier functions and reduce inflammation, protecting the host from colonic diseases, which is amazing. We also have aloe vera. Now, it's very beneficial. It soothes our digestive issues, things like constipation, and it helps to actually reduce blood sugar and helps us to manage that better. It works as a mild laxative, so that's why we only put 50 milligrams in it, because we want it to give us the support to have daily bowel movements, but we want it to do it in a very gentle way. Aloe vera gel and juice contain an anti-inflammatory fatty acids, and which is what causes it to help regulate the smooth functioning of the colon, small intestines, and the stomach. All right, last but not least, we have slippery elm. Now, slippery elm bark is a demulcent. This means that it is capable of soothing the lining of the stomach and intestines and reducing irritation. Demulcents are sometimes referred to as mucoprotective agents. This just means that it can help treat the symptoms associated with inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS. So now you can see why I call this formula a game changer, right? It really is. And I'm so excited that you are now going to be able to try it for yourself, because I'm telling you, it's already making a huge difference for me. Now, Hippocrates, who's the father of medicine, said all disease begins in the gut. And it turns out he was right. Healthy gut makes a huge difference, and it really matters. A healthy gut means a healthy body, a healthy mind, and healthy and happy and balanced hormones. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love having you here. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know by giving us a big thumbs up on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, leave us a rating and review. We love reading them, and we also have fun choosing our favorites and sending you a fun thank you gift if you are the one that left it. Of course, please subscribe to this podcast on YouTube and on whatever your favorite podcast platform is so that you never miss an episode. We love hanging out every single week. New episodes drop every single Tuesday. So until next time, I truly hope that you all have a very happy and healthy week. Love you.